Hello, I'm Dango Rose. Welcome to the Mountaineer Podcast, where everybody's listening. The Mountaineer brings you the latest news of the peak-to-peak region, in print, online, through our podcast, social media, and special publications. Now, listen in to the latest news of the area with our local journalists.
Blinded by the lights, I'm a silhouette, and I cannot see their faces from the moment that I...
The song that you are currently listening to is called Just a Song. It's written and performed by Eric Richard Stone for his most recent album, Living the Dream, which you can find on music platforms everywhere. If you want to purchase it directly from Eric and learn more about his music, then be sure to head to his website at ericrichardstone.com.
It could make you smile, it could make you cry, though I wonder how or even why. Just some words on a page, just some notes in the air, a rhythm that you feel, a reason that you care. A melody reveals the wrongs. Is it really just a song?
Hello there, everybody. My name is Jamie Lammers, and welcome to the Mountaineer Podcast. Today I've got a bit of a shorter segment for you, so I'm just going to jump right into the interview, and we'll give our announcements and promotions at the end of the episode. Our guest this time around, do you mind introducing yourself real quick?
I'm Eric Stone, and I'm a singer-songwriter from Nederland, Colorado.
And you are promoting a brand new album, Living the Dream.
Yeah, just came out April 1st, and it's been exciting to line up all kinds of shows and a tour in Europe in June, and then going to Argentina and Chile in August and September. So that's part of the reason for getting the album out there, is to then take it around and tour with it and play some of the songs from the new album.
So in recent promotions of the album, you've talked about how your musical journey really started in 2014 when you first moved into the Peak-to-Peak area. Can you talk a bit about that musical journey?
Well, I was living on Sugarloaf before then and working at a desk job pretty much, and wasn't very happy doing that. And it all came kind of to a sudden end with losing that job and also ending a marriage and moving up to Eldora for the last year of my younger kids' high school. I have twins, and they were going into their senior year of high school. And we moved up to Eldora for a while, and then they went off to college. And I decided the best way for me to deal with that would be to follow something I'd been passionate about and dabbling in sort of part-time for quite a long time, and that's songwriting and performing and making music. So I started in 2014 playing music full-time while I took a part-time job as a school bus driver, which gave me the summers off to travel and tour and go to festivals and play music. And then eventually I retired from school bus driving a few years ago, and now I do it year-round, full-time.
And I'm sure that as a result, the Peak-to-Peak area inspired a lot of your writing in early albums especially.
Yeah, some of the early albums, well, my first album was 1983 on cassette tape, but my first CD was before the breakup of my marriage and before losing my job. But that too was inspired, a lot of the songs were inspired by nature and by living in the mountains. And then when I moved to Eldora, certainly I lived in a cabin, the assay office to the old mines up there. It was built in 1893, and I could hear the wind blow through the chinking in the logs. I could go hike right out my back door into the national forest surrounding the town of Eldora, and spent a lot of time doing that during my free time. And that connection to nature, Boulder Creek running through the town and through the forest and the mountains and the weather and the climate, all helped to inspire a lot of the songs, and still do today. Even living in my own place now off of Magnolia, on a parcel of land that I cut the trees for my own firewood, fire mitigation. I see moose in the backyard and lots of other wildlife. And that was my background, was as a wildlife biologist. Started out as a wildlife biologist, ended up stuck behind a desk 16 hours a day. But all of that connection to nature certainly inspires a lot of my music. But equally so, I'd say, by just human nature and by human interaction, romance, the ending of romance, the beginning of friendships, playing with other musicians. But nature and where we live here in the mountains is a theme that runs through all of it.
So how long was the development process for this particular album?
Longer than a lot of the other albums. For a good long period, I tended to put out an album a year. It's been several years since my last album, and I began touring and performing so regularly a few years ago due to, some would call it success, but it was a lot of hard effort to try to make sure that I was always performing and getting my music out there. But that made it really difficult to write music. When I'm looking forward to my next performance and practicing for the next performance and booking and marketing my music, that's busy enough to prevent me from really settling down into a rhythm where I can write new music and practice the new songs and get them in front of an audience enough to where I feel comfortable that the song has finished evolving and now it's ready to put on an album. I was also trying to be a little bit more patient with this album and take my time and do it right. So it took quite a lot longer due to my performance schedule, as well as just wanting to be patient and getting everything right. And I had a lot of help on two of the tracks from my friend Ray Smith and his wife Carrie Miner, who produced a lot of the songs on a lot of my albums in the past. But doing my own recording at home also deserved some very patient reflection about, is this right? Is this the tempo I really want for this song? Do I need to add a bass line to it or just keep it guitar and vocals? And I was teaching myself to play bass and learning how to loop drum and percussion tracks and playing lead guitar on some of the tracks as well, or playing harmonica with it, or massaging the lyrics just a little bit. So I spent a little bit more time on this album, and I'm really proud of how it turned out.
And what are you most proud of about this album and excited to share with an audience?
For this album, there are 2 songs on the album that are co-written with other songwriters. We spent 5 days out in California, a bunch of songwriters getting to know each other and writing songs together. So 2 of the songs are co-written with other songwriters, so I feel good about that. I feel really solid about mostly the lyrical aspect of the songs too. A lot of times I'll rush to get out a record, as I said, once a year. And then months later, I realized, I could have written that line in that particular song slightly differently and had a much bigger impact or a different meaning than I wanted to get across. And I've done that before. I've actually re-recorded songs that I've put out on one album and brought them out again on another album with a different lyrical structure, or maybe a different melody too. But it's been, again, a little bit more patient in getting the songs to where I felt that's where they're going to land for good. They don't need to be changed anymore.
And is there anything that you hope people will take away, particularly from the album itself?
Well, I hope that some of the songs really inspire them. I'm really proud of the title track, Living the Dream, which Ray Smith and Carrie produced for me. I'm really proud of the message that it sends and hope people find it inspiring in a way that they're inspired to live their own dream. And here I am. I'm at 67 years old now. And a couple of years ago, I came home from a really exhausting, not very satisfying gig, and my partner Laura poured an amber alcoholic beverage into a glass for me and sat me down and said, life may not be perfect, but we're still living the dream. And I thought, that's true. We've arrived, both of us, in a point in our lives where we're living our best life. These are definitely the happiest days of my life to date. So I hope that song at least inspires people that they will someday reach that point in their life where they realize they're truly, truly happy. And then there are other songs that I think touch on a variety of different emotions, ways of being with other people and interacting, ways of looking at the world and thinking about the state of the world that we're we're in now. And then there's some really fun songs. One song that's live recording, which is Two Things, has a little bit colorful language in it, but I think it was a really funny song, and I hope people enjoy that too. It has a surprising take on relationships.
And yeah, is there anything else in general that you want to add about the album or anything else coming up?
No, the music is available everywhere you get music, anywhere I can think of where you could download or stream music, all of those outlets, as well as my website. And of course, if you download it from my website, I actually get something monetarily out of that, whereas if you download it from, say, should I mention them or not mention them, Spotify or Apple, iTunes, Amazon, certainly from Spotify, I get next to nothing. So I hope you'll visit my website at ericrichardstone.com, and you can download it right there, the new album.
Thank you so much, Eric, for coming on board and joining us for the podcast. As he said, if you're interested in listening to Living the Dream, you can purchase the album on ericrichardstone.com or find it wherever you get your music. Thank you so much, everybody, for listening to this shorter segment of the Mountaineer Podcast. I'll be back very, very soon with a much longer one. Before we sign off, our preliminary announcements and promotions. If you're interested in subscribing to the Mountaineer to get your news from peak to peak, then be sure to head to the mtnear.com and click on the subscribe button in the top right corner of our homepage. From there, you'll get full access to our digital archives and scanned copies of our physical newspaper. And you can choose to send a physical subscription to your mailbox or to the mailbox of someone that you love. If you're interested in getting advertising into the paper and or the podcast, be sure to email our editor-in-chief, Barbara Hart, at info@themountaineer.com or myself at media@themountaineer.com, and we'll get something sorted for you. We're currently looking for more voices to join us for the Mountaineer Podcast Season 5, so be sure to email info@themountaineer.com and or media@themountaineer.com if you're interested in being involved in the podcast. And finally, to check out all of our most important links, then check out an individual episode description of our podcast to find our Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and so much more. If you want to share this episode or others around with whoever you see fit, then be sure to head to our podcast's main hub at the mtnearpodcast.buzzsprout.com or scroll near to the bottom of our website's homepage. If you want to send general or specific feedback about the paper or the podcast over to us, then head to an individual podcast episode description and send us a text. We'd love to hear from you. I'll see you guys next time with a much longer segment of the Mountaineer Podcast. Have a great rest of your day!
Haven't done the laundry in a week. I miss seeing your coat hanging in the hall. There's one less dirty dish in the kitchen sink. Strange how...
The song that you are currently listening to is called Just Fine Alone. It's written and performed by Eric Richard Stone for his most recent album, Living the Dream, which you can find on music platforms everywhere. If you want to purchase it directly from Eric and learn more about his music, then be sure to head to his website at ericrichardstone.com.
And I've even stopped wondering where you are. It's okay, we both have things to do. Relaxing with our solitude, going solo, me and you. We chose to take our own road, the days when you're not home. I may not admit it to you, but I'm just fine alone.
And that's it for our show. Subscribe online to get more access to more news, weekly updates to our community calendar, and a link to our YouTube channel by visiting themountaineer.com. Be sure to use the coupon code PODCAST when subscribing for a 10% discount, only available to our listeners. If you are in the local Peak to Peak area, be sure to pick up a print edition of The Mountaineer at a local business. I'm Dango Rose. Thank you for listening.